Hello guys, welcome back to Defying Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star Part 327 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng looked at the walls on his sides, yet there were no specimens or life diagrams. Blank. What does this mean? The life diagrams here are not in the form of specimens. Luo Feng walked forward, perplexed. He carefully observed everything on the portal, trying to find something. He couldn't find anything. Luo Feng found nothing special. Suddenly, ethereal voices reached ears. The voices were thin and weak, yet Luo Feng felt that they were everywhere around him. Gradually, the volume increased, and there were spots of black light merging in the space around him. Countless spots started to gather in front of Luo Feng to form a blurry figure. It was a blurry figure giving out black light. It looked ordinary, but Luo Feng couldn't but feel the desire to worship it. The blurry figure's back was to Luo Feng. "You're only one step away from becoming an ultimate true god," said the blurry figure slowly. "Remember, if you want to reach the ultimate level of a true god, you're on your own. I hope that you can reach the top of Wu Chi Tower." The blurry figure turned to face Luo Feng, glanced at him, and vanished. Luo Feng stood there, dazed. He hadn't been able to even see the figure clearly and hadn't been able to tell what it looked like. However, he had a strong desire to worship when facing that blurry figure, and he wanted to fight and even die for him. "It might only be a virtual consciousness," Luo Feng said, thrilled. "It's much more powerful than the last generation of Duandong River." The last generation of Duandong River had died long ago. However, it had left behind a virtual consciousness in the form of an energy body to select inheritors. Only after that had it dissipated. The virtual consciousness wasn't a life form, but it still carried all the memories of the original being. Memories were themselves a form of strength as well. They knew all the chaos laws and they carried all the memories, so they were indeed extraordinary. Luo Feng speculated that it was a virtual consciousness left by His Majesty the Godly King. The blurry figure of the virtual consciousness alone had made him want to risk his life. If the real Majesty of Godly King were here, Luo Feng might have been willing to kill himself for the Godly King. It must be His Majesty the Godly King. Wu Chi Tower was built by His Majesty the Godly King, and the life diagrams contained in this true God path are all invaluable. I don't even have that in the Duandong River inheritance. Even those great beings working directly for His Majesty the Godly King aren't qualified to read them. It's highly likely that only His Majesty the Godly King can leave a virtual consciousness here. Luo Feng immediately felt that this goal of being sealed was tremendous. When he had accepted the sealing task, the only thing he had wanted was that powerful machine-type valuable, Wu Chi God, as well as the opportunity to train himself. However, the life diagrams on the true God path thrilled Luo Feng so much that he hadn't even considered the implications. Even the ancestral teachers couldn't get precious life diagrams like those. His Majesty the Godly King from the world of Jinn wouldn't just give them away. Besides, the virtual consciousness that had appeared made Luo Feng realize that things were more complicated than he had anticipated. "I bet that giant object in Universe Ocean was the dead Godly King," thought Luo Feng. His Majesty the Godly King died. He built Wu Chi Tower before he died, made Wu Chi God, and set all those tasks. Thoughts flooded Luo Feng's mind. Suddenly, Hong! A light pillar arrived and covered Luo Feng. Su! Luo Feng disappeared through the portal. On the 5th floor of Wu Chi Tower was a snowy world. Shua! Luo Feng appeared. Luo Feng looked around at the endless, snowy world. This must be the 5th level of Wu Chi Tower. He couldn't help but smile. He'd gained a lot on the 4th floor. He'd already expected what he was going to attain before entering World of Jinn, but he hadn't expected to acquire so much. In the past 4,000 years, his godly body had reached 60,000 times life gene level, and he was only one step away from 90,000. That virtual consciousness that seemed to have been left by His Majesty the Godly King said that I'm on my own if I want to reach the limit of true gods. Luo Feng remembered. Aside from the evolution of his godly body, He realized that the sealing task had a huge secret behind it. He had many questions in his heart. How did that giant object, which might be His Majesty the Godly King, die? And why is he floating in universe ocean? Why did the original mind guide us to the giant object? Great Thunderstar Master used a completely different force before he died. Where did that come from? Asterisk 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 asterisk. In the Silver Palace outside Wu Chi Tower, all 4 leaders guarding Godly King Valley were waiting on the thrones. They couldn't see Luo Feng, as he was in the deeper area of True God Path. Hua! Scenes appeared on the screen. The 5th floor of Wu Chi Tower, exclaimed the black mist on the throne on the left. He's entered the 5th level. It's only been less than half an era, and he's already entered the 5th level. No matter what, he's on the 5th floor now. The silver-armored female leader, the towering male leader, the strange beast leader, and the black mist leader were all gazing at the screen, excited. Can that soldier Milky Way enter the 8th floor? The 5th to the 7th floor can be of great help to those great beings, but they're also very challenging. Many soldiers in the world of Jinn have gotten to the 5th floor, but most of them were eliminated on the 5th, 6th, or even 7th floor. Only one could get to the 8th floor. These 3 floors are indeed challenging. Milky Way is incredible. He might actually get through the next 3 floors. There was a huge secret hidden in Wu Chi Tower. The 4 leaders couldn't see the 8th floor or the 9th floor. Only one from the past generations of elite soldiers had successfully ventured to the 8th floor, but he had eventually failed. The 8th floor was the final hazard, and if someone could succeed there, he would reach the 9th floor. Once he reached the top, he succeeded and would be sealed. Asterisk 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 asterisk. On the 5th floor of Wu Chi Tower, in the vast snowy world, Luo Feng looked around. Only me? Luo Feng thought. What about the others? 15 soldiers had been on the 4th floor. Hong. The wind and snow started to tumble, and they enveloped Luo Feng. He heard an old voice saying, "Soldier Milky Way, all the other soldiers were eliminated. From now on, you'll be the only one continuing the journey. There will be a powerful creature on the 5th floor, and if you can defeat him, you'll enter the 6th floor. If you fail, you'll leave Wu Chi Tower." Luo Feng considered. Only the first 3 levels were deadly. He was safe now. Huh! Luo Feng looked into the distant, noticing a being walking toward him. He wore a white cape and appeared to be moving slowly, but he continually approaching Luo Feng. He had a handsome face, and there was a red mole between his eyebrows. He had pointy ears, and he smiled at Luo Feng as he said, "Soldier Milky Way, my energies will be on your level. You're proficient in blade techniques, so I'll fight you with blades." The white-caped man reached out his hands. The snow around him gathered, forming an ice blade. At the same time, he became aggressive. It was as if his entire body had become a blade. That hostility weighed heavily on Luo Feng. Blade. Luo Feng reached out his hands, and Blood Shadow Blade appeared. He stared at his competitor just as aggressively. Great. The white-caped man smirked. First attack. Hua. The white-caped man moved like a phantom. The shadow of his blade flashed. Blade shadows kept appearing, and instantly, billions of them were flashing in front of Luo Feng as if he was trapped in an entire world of blade shadows. Illusion is nothing to me. Luo Feng's mind yelled, and everything disappeared. But a blade had already reached Luo Feng. Dang! The ice blade struck against Blood Shadow Blade. The white-caped man was blasted back. The white-caped man flew at Luo Feng more quickly, as if he was already furious. Second strike. He was like a ball of burning fire. He slashed low, wielding incomparable force. The world was divided into 2. Seal. Luo Feng's Blood Shadow Blade shook, and a thin trace of blade light raced toward it. Then it became thicker. When the 2 touched, the blade light became a miniature world, enveloping its competitor. The miniature world cracked as the 2 beams of light collided. Strike 3, the white-caped man yelled, and his godly body spun, turning into a blowing wind. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Strike 9. Strike 36. Strike 99. Strike 163. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The white-caped man was like a madman. He immediately performed another type of blade technique after each previous strike was resisted. None of the blade techniques were the same, however. Luo Feng, who was putting forth the utmost effort, went from excited to mesmerized as he fought the white-caped man like crazy. I understand now. So, this is why he is trying to do. Luo Feng understood now that the 5th level wasn't a challenge, but a prize. No wonder the ancient voice said that there would only be prizes from the 4 level. The blade techniques performed by the white-caped man were guiding Luo Feng. Through these different ways of fighting, Luo Feng was being indoctrinated. The blade techniques of the white-caped man all belong to the basic laws: gold, wood, water, fire, mud, wind, thunder, light, time, and space. Although chaos laws were mysterious, and those superior to true gods pursued the ultimate chaos laws, the foundation of the 10 basic laws remained integral. When it came to merge laws and the morphing of the universe, the 10 basic laws were the building blocks. Luo Feng, however, only had a brief understanding of this foundation. However, the white-caped man had already demonstrated 16 different blade techniques based only on gold law, and each technique had a different conception. Besides, every one of the techniques the white-caped man performed had reached top-tier level 6. How incredible the white-caped man was! How was he able to create so many extraordinary blade techniques based only on the basic laws? Luo Feng's understanding of the 10 basic laws was skyrocketing, and each strike was more efficient than comprehending for more than 10,000 eras. How could Luo Feng not be exhilarated? Strike 233. The blade technique of the white-caped man amazed Luo Feng. All the blade techniques were at top-tier level 6, so they weren't a threat to him. However, the white-caped man was able to create them based only on the basic laws, which awed Luo Feng. When fighting the white-caped man, golden-horned beast body in the space of inheritance was also reflecting on the blade techniques. Strike 360. After Luo Feng resisted strike 360, the white-caped man flew away and stood still on the ground. Luo Feng was perplexed. Since none of the 360 blades can hurt you, prepare for more powerful blade techniques, said the white-caped man. The ice blade suddenly gleamed, and a roaring strange beast appeared. It was a strange beast that looked like a single-horned lizard. Luo Feng was shocked. A golden beast god. Howl. The roaring golden beast god cried out in a shrill voice. It had its head lowered, and its horn was pointing forward. It raced ahead, burning its life energy. Hong. A trace of golden light was left in the space. Hua. The gleaming light of fire and water shone, resisting the blade of light. Merged laws of gold and space. Luo Feng was astounded. A blade technique at level 7. The previous 360 strikes only contained one basic law, and each strike was at top-tier level 6 at Nirvana incarnation. However, the new strike had merged the laws of gold and space, and its power reached level 7, forcing Luo Feng to use light of water and fire to resist it. That white-caped man said that he would use the same energies used by Luo Feng, but he was exerting much more power. Luo Feng resisted the former 360 strikes because he was using his blood shadow blade to perform Nirvana incarnation. Apparently, the 5th level was used to test fighting skills. As for godly power, blood shadow blade, they were all nullified. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The 4 leaders laughed. He had already understood the secret behind. He knew the benefits on the 5th floor already, one of them exclaimed. Ha. That soldier Milky Way kept fighting, but he didn't use all his power to defeat his enemy. Apparently, he wanted to know more blade techniques from his enemy. The previous soldiers who ventured onto the 5th level would soon understand the secrets behind it. And then they would happily comprehend and absorb the knowledge. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Luo Feng was indeed comprehending the truth. The previous 360 strikes greatly inspired him. Because of the inheritance from Duandong River, he knew how important the 10 basic laws were. Luo Feng had already comprehended the 10 basic laws, but he had never reached that level of comprehension. Understanding laws was like understanding elements. After learning about those elements, it would take abilities to make combinations. In Universe Ocean, with merge laws or time and space laws, techniques at top-tier level 5 were already a supreme technique. However, it was a threshold that was difficult to break. Luo Feng was able to create Nirvana Incarnation at top-tier level 6 based on gold and space law, and he created Light of Water and Fire with water law, fire law, and gold law. Those so-called limits and perfection were just thresholds. For example, a life gene level of 10,081 times could be called perfect, but Luo Feng had reached 60,000 times life gene level already. Asterisk 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 asterisk. With the help of the space of inheritance, Luo Feng comprehended more, and while fighting that white-caped man, his blade techniques were being improved gradually. Strike 399. The white-caped man turned into a huge tornado. There were traces of golden light in the tornado. The traces of golden light kept multiplying, covering Luo Feng. Luo Feng waved his blood shadow blade. Hong, 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 hong. Those traces of golden light exploded with blood shadow blade as it was waved at the center of the tornado. The frantic blade light blasted everything around it, and all the energies and time and space were also blasted away. Everything disappeared. The white-caped man rebounded, taking 3 steps back and glaring at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, holding blood shadow blade, was thrilled. Finally. He had finally created a blade technique at top-tier level 7. Nirvana Incarnation was a blade technique at top-tier level 6, and Light of Water and Fire was at level 7. After creating Light of Water and Fire, it was difficult for him to make a breakthrough. Last time, in 9 Smoke Marsh, Luo Feng had killed that strange beast True God while being watched by 10,000 True Gods. He had tried everything at that time. During that fight, Luo Feng's blade technique had already improved and had been on the verge of a breakthrough. However, he hadn't cultivated enough. In the last 360 strikes, Luo Feng had solidified his foundation in laws, so when he combined water law, fire law, gold law, and space law, he created a forceful blade technique. That blade was an explosion, tearing and destroying everything. I created that blade technique in Wu Chi Tower, thought Luo Feng, and this time, I must enter the 9th floor and reach the top of Wu Chi Tower. Nobody can stop me, and I'll crush everyone standing in my way. I'll call this move 9 Days Path. The 3 blade techniques Luo Feng had created were Nirvana Incarnation, Light of Water and Fire, and 9 Days Path. It would definitely be scripted on Blood Shadow Blade. However, this was Wu Chi Tower, so Luo Feng didn't rush to do that now. My blade technique is already at top-tier level 7, and it's the average level compared to all the inheritors from Duandong River. Luo Feng was joyful. Only 2 previous inheritors from Duandong River had created techniques at level 8 when they were Universe Masters, and most of them created those at top-tier level 7. After reaching a certain level in blade techniques, I can finally start to comprehend the 3rd level of engravings of Shi Wu Wing, and I can do the same thing on Star Tower. The more powerful the user was, the better the supreme true treasure could be utilized. Luo Feng had killed Pei Xing Master and had gotten another pair of wings. However, he had failed to comprehend the 3rd level of his Shi Wu wings, as they were far too complicated. Now, his blade technique had reached top-tier level 7, so he'd entered a whole new level, meaning he should be able to comprehend them. The 1st level of Shi Wu Wing was Time and Space in Chaos, and the 2nd level was Golden Country. What would the 3rd level be? Luo Feng greatly looked forward to it. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In the palace on the 3rd floor of the Silver Palace, the Black Mist leader exclaimed, "He's made a breakthrough on his blade technique. It's an average True God level." Top-tier level 6 blade techniques were at the elementary True God level. Top-tier level 7 was at an average True God level. Top-tier level 8 was a senior True God. The axe technique created by Huge Axe Creator was at this level, and with the supreme true treasure he could wield power at top-tier level 9. Top-tier level 9 was a limit-level True God. With supreme true treasures, they could wield power at a higher level like Jiefan Zi. Top-tier level 10. They were supreme true gods, and such a level could only be attained through the use of supreme true treasures. Of course, some beings could surpass that level. Luo Feng was able to create blade techniques at top-tier level 7 as only a universe master, so after becoming a true god, he could easily surpass the so-called limit. Teacher Origin had created the virtual universe, before being suppressed, without any supreme true treasures, so it was already at top-tier level 10. During the long period of time he had spent being suppressed by the original mind, Teacher Origin had made another breakthrough, and he had already reached the level of true gods of void space. However, he was being suppressed the whole time. His godly body couldn't be improved because he didn't get godly power supplies, and his miniature universe couldn't morph. It was still full of chaos air. A law master is able to create blade techniques at ordinary true god level, the towering leader exclaimed. It's incredible. When I was a law master, I was not as good as him. Even though it's difficult to pass the 5th level, the only thing he needs to do is to resist the attacks, said the silver-armored female leader with a sigh. However, this soldier Milky Way is so powerful. The 5th level required attack techniques at level 7. The first 360 strikes from that white-caped man were all only at top-tier level 6, and the merge blade techniques after those were only at level 7. As long as Luo Feng wasn't crushed, the white-caped man would admit defeat in the end. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Strike 450. Luo Feng performed his marvelous blade technique and kept hitting the white-caped man, striking him away. The ground was cracked, leaving a long gully. Hua! The white-caped man stood up and said, "You are indeed powerful. I admit defeat." He threw away his ice blade, and it turned back into snow and dissipated. He took a step forward and walked into the distance. Then he disappeared from Luo Feng's sight. Luo Feng was left standing there. It ended. Just like that. Luo Feng was dazed. He was growing anxious. Almost there. After creating 9 days' path, Luo Feng had fought the white-caped man with all his strength. He had tried to create better blade techniques, and every time, Luo Feng was basically suppressing the white-caped man. He absorbed some knowledge from him every time they fought, and he immediately merged that into his blade technique. Luo Feng wanted to create blade techniques at level 8. Only 2 of the inheritors of Duandong River could do that as universe masters, so Luo Feng wanted to do the same thing. However, it was very difficult. The white-caped man was gone, and Luo Feng still hadn't succeeded yet. It's not an easy job to create blade techniques at level 8. Luo Feng sighed. The white-caped man had performed 450 strikes, and 360 had been built on basic laws. As for merge laws, there had been 90 strikes. All the merge laws showed that the white-caped man was trying to demonstrate as much as he could. He admitted defeat. I succeeded. The realization suddenly struck Luo Feng. If I hadn't used the blade techniques and had used some techniques from Supreme True Treasures, what would that have led to? With Supreme True Treasures, techniques could be enhanced. Luo Feng realized that Wu Qi Tower had been left by His Majesty the Godly King, and it would be able to tell whether the candidates were using their own techniques or Supreme True Treasures. Otherwise, it would have been a total joke. Hong. A pillar of light covered Luo Feng. Su. Luo Feng disappeared from the snowy land on the 5th floor. Like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.